If you're like me, you've probably seen a few YouTubers recently opening gift boxes sent to them by Peacock to celebrate Jaws' 50th anniversary. But something feels fishy. Get it? I haven't been sent one. What the heck, Peacock? But seriously though, this got me thinking. How well does Jaws hold up in the modern day, half a century on? So of course, expect spoilers. Jaws, directed by Steven Spielberg and released in 1975, is credited as being the very first summer blockbuster and was based off Peter Benchley's 1974 novel of the same name. For those of you playing along at home, you'll probably notice that there was just over a year between the publication of the book and the release of the film, which isn't an awfully long time to make a film, which brings me to my first fun piece of trivia. Universal actually bought the film rights to Jaws in 1973, before the book was even published, after they read an unfinished draft. At this point they didn't even have a director, but the producers thought it had so much potential that they snatched it up before anyone else could, and it turns out they were right to. Jaws follows Martin Brody, played by Roy Scheider, the chief of police on the fictional island of Amity, as he is trying to stop a shark which has been killing people. With the help of marine biologist Matt Hooper and shark hunter Quint, played by Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw respectively, he eventually blows the shark to smithereens. The film really takes place in two halves. There's the first half on the island. This is where they are trying to get the beaches closed to protect people, and the second half on the Orca, where, of course, they're trying to kill the shark. I think for me the beach scenes especially stand out. Brody believes there to be a shark in the water, so he is looking around the beach paranoid, and so we do too. Of course, we, as the audience, know that there will be a shark attack. It'd be a pretty boring film if there wasn't. But we don't know when or who or how. We begin to think, oh, they're spending a lot of time with this man and his dog, maybe one of them will be killed. Although this couple's being featured a lot, maybe it'll be one of them. They keep showing this kid, maybe he'll be bitten. It's this not knowing which creates the suspense of the film. Couple that with possibly the most iconic shot of the film, and you have a cracker of a scene. All of the characters are fleshed out too, even the mayor, who had the potential to just feel like a dumb fool, who doesn't think the shark is dangerous so keeps the beaches open. In the film, he actually keeps the beaches open because the town's economy will crash without them. But he agrees to have certain safety precautions there, and is relieved when what he believed was the shark that killed the people was caught. Even down to the detail that he didn't want this shark cutting open because it had the potential to prove that it wasn't the same shark and that the sea is still dangerous. But here comes fun bit of trivia number 2. Did you know that the mayor's motivation for keeping the beaches open was actually different in the book? In the book, he kept the beaches open because he was being pressured to by the mafia to whom he owed money, to ensure that their real estate on the island would not lose value. There are plenty of other changes from the book, but this, to me, was the most shocking. One of the things that makes the shark such a scary adversary is that it could be anywhere. At any time, it could pop out and eat someone. When this man is trying to swim back to shore, I fully expected him to just suddenly be dragged under the water by the shark, similar to the girl at the beginning of the film. Because we don't see the shark, we don't actually know what it's doing. It's an unseen terror which randomly and indiscriminately devours people. In fact, we don't actually see the shark until an hour into the runtime. But it wasn't always meant to be that way. Directors like Wes Anderson know exactly what they want to see in their films, so they only have sets built for exactly what will be seen. So a shot like this looks like this behind the scenes. While this is very impressive and leads to some really cool behind-the-scenes photos, it leaves almost no margin for error. Now let's go back to Jaws. Steven Spielberg had this mechanical shark made for shooting the film, and his original plan involved giving Bruce, that's the mechanical shark's name by the way, a lot more screen time. But when he was put in the salty water of the ocean, he stopped working. So Spielberg had to pivot, and he changed Bruce from the big scary shark to the unseen terror of the ocean, who is also a big scary shark. But this malfunctioning animatronic forced Spielberg to be much more experimental with his techniques. You'll notice that most of the film doesn't show the shark, and I think that makes it even more terrifying. Our only indication that the shark is there is John Williams' terrifying score and the mayhem that ensues on the beach. So, in answer to my own question, yes, Jaws is still a great film. When you take into consideration the production issues, the fact that this was only Steven Spielberg's second time directing a feature film, and the disagreements between Spielberg and Benchley over what could be changed from the book, the end result is excellent. But even without considering all of that, it is still excellent. There are so many things in this film that work so well. Like, for example, Spielberg absolutely masters the long shot in this film. There are several times where a whole scene, or nearly a whole scene, are filmed using a single shot, where usually it would be made of many more. But it really works in the film's favour. It makes the whole thing feel much more real. Have you seen Jaws? What do you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, and Peacock, I'm still waiting for my box.